Come on, let's put some energy back into this DCEU. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Friday's gigantic edition of the DC Daily. Please stay tuned, and I mean this because you'll be missing out if you don't. Stay tuned for the second part of today's show. We'll be taking a deep dive into the Air Cut. We'll be talking about what the film is. I have an exclusive for you. I have spoken to someone who knows all about the movie. I will not be naming this person, but I have some details about the Air Cut. But first of all, I'm really excited to hear that Black Adam and Shazam are going to San Diego Comic-Con. A few weeks ago, a few editions ago, whatever, I reported to you apparently, because it was what was told to me and this was wrong, that there would be no DC content, no DCEU content marketed at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Well, I'm happy to report to you today that Shazam, Fury of the Gods and Black Adam is going to San Diego Comic-Con. And it would be a wasted opportunity if we do not see Zachary Levi and The Rock himself standing together in fucking costume, but they don't have to be in costume, together, Black Adam and Shazam, in this brilliant event, because, you know, San Diego Comic-Con has always been massive to us, the fans, and it's the first time since the pandemic fans can return to their home, which is San Diego Comic-Con, and geek out. So to think that we're getting Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods at this huge Geek Fest event, I'm very excited, because this was very concerning for the future of the DCEU, that apparently there will be no DCEU content, you know, publicized or marketed at San Diego Comic-Con. So that's really huge news. I hope we get another Black Adam trailer, or at least some footage for the people going there. As for Shazam Fury of the Gods, I'm very excited about that movie. Unfortunately, I know pretty much what that movie's all about. It's not unfortunately in context of the movie, because from what I'm hearing, it's huge, it's brilliant, it's everything the first movie was and a lot more. Some people going to test screenings have complained that certain characters don't get enough screen time, you know, the extended Shazam family, but basically what I'm hearing is they get the same screen time as the first movie. But most importantly, Shazam. Definitely Shazam, because it's his movie, and Freddie Freeman do get lots and lots of screen time. So, and Billy Batson, by the way. I mean, you know, because you got Billy Batson, the kid, who's played by another actor, and of course Zachary Levi Shazam, they get lots of screen time, as does Freddie Freeman, because Freddie Freeman was the, you know, was the breakout character of that movie. Let's be clear about that. So he gets lots of screen time, along with Zachary Levi Shazam and Billy Batson as well. I can gladly report to you that's going to be an excellent movie. This year started off really exciting for every DC fan, because we were thinking about, you know, 4 DC movies in 1 year. The Batman, maybe Batgirl even, which would have made it 5. You know, Shazam Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, the Flash movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and the rug was pulled beneath us, because before the delays, I was so hyped up for the Flash movie and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and to have 4 or 5 movies in 1 year was awesome. Unfortunately, they had no plans for next year apart from Blue Beetle. So they delayed things, not just because of that reason, and we've gone over it and over it again, and I don't want to be negative about the DCEU today. I am happy that Shazam Fury of the Gods is actually getting the San Diego Comic-Con treatment, as is Black Adam. If these 2 movies do well, I think Black Adam is, or should I say The Rock, is exactly what the future of the DCEU needs. Someone who hypes the fuck out of his movies, you know, who hypes the fuck out of the DCEU. There were rumours many months ago that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would be the new head of the DCEU, of DC Live Action. Could The Rock plausibly be the DC Studios president? It would be insanity. Has he got the capabilities? Well, hang on a minute before you dismiss this, because he's not just a wrestler, former wrestler, and an actor. He helps run his production company. He's involved in a production company. He's produced and starred in many successful movies. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he's not on David Zaslav's list. He could be on David Zaslav's list. I would approve of this. Not necessarily him getting the job, but I think he deserves to be on the list. He's a great talker. He talks about DC in the right ways. Publicly, he would bring on the hype as much as Kevin Feige, as Marvel Studios president, does. So don't dismiss this. This man is a lot more intelligent than people give him credit for. But this is great. This is great for the DCEU, and I'm happy because there are no issues with Black Adam. I know the trailer underwhelmed me, but I still think this has the potential of being a great movie, as is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And, do you want a spoiler about that film? I've told you this information on this channel before. Most of you know this. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman turns up in a very important moment in this movie. I've given you the leaks before. I'm not going to give you those leaks again. But she plays a huge part for a short amount of time in this movie. But not only that, they mention her multiple times, which is really, really exciting. What we don't know is if Henry Cavill's Superman will surprise us in this movie and in Black Adam. Is it plausible for Henry Cavill to actually turn up at San Diego Comic-Con? I don't want to get your hopes up because who knows? Ultimately, I've been very negative about the DCEU, and with good reason. But when we get good news, I'm going to spread the good news. I am not a DC hater. I love DC. I've been a DC fan for many, many years. But my heart was broken, guys, and everybody else, when, they delayed a couple of these movies. The Ezra Miller situation, it's so depressing because apparently Ezra Miller is brilliant in the Flash movie. So what happens with him? I have no idea. I think the best thing to do is focus on the positivity element of the DCEU, which is Shazam! Fury of the Gods and Black Adam. Even Super Pets seems like a really awesome, DC animated movie. And if you go out and support that animated movie, we'll get more of that shit. The cast for these DC characters in DC's leads of Super Pets is huge. So I'm really looking forward to that movie as well. So hopefully Black Adam and Shazam! Fury of the Gods are the movies we want them to be. But they are coming to San Diego Comic-Con, which is great. But we have to ask a deeper question here. Are these the only DCEU movies going? Because what's going on with Batgirl? And is it possible for the Flash movie to go to San Diego Comic-Con with all the controversy about it and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom? Well, a few weeks ago, Barbara Machete teased that a Flash trailer was coming very soon. So despite evidence to the contrary, yes, it is possible for the Flash movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and if those movies are going, Batgirl to be displayed at San Diego Comic-Con. This would make me even more happy. I know you fans are desperate for this, for a celebration of DC, because that's what they were doing initially. These movies were going to relaunch the DCEU. And this made me very, very excited. I don't agree with Superman being deleted in the Flash movie. Hopefully they can go back and change that. But for now, that's the thing. But anyway, the point is, and for people asking me all the time, will there be a Batgirl trailer soon? Is she going to San Diego Comic-Con? Is the Flash movie there? Is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom there? I think they've got these movies. As we've already a lot of you have said, would they delay these movies? Would they cancel these movies? Would they risk losing money? Or would they do this big marketing push? So, however unlikely it is at this point, look out for information about Batgirl, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and the Flash movie also coming to San Diego Comic-Con. So I don't know if this is going to happen. As a DC fan, as you are all DC fans as well, I'm hoping all 5 of these movies are there. And who knows, we may even get mention of Blue Beetle. Because, as I say, look, a few weeks ago, they were definitely not thinking about doing this, which is a disaster. Because I think their minds were changed when Kevin Feige was saying, we're going to San Diego, we've got lots of surprises for you, and we're going to talk about Phase 5 and what I've actually been doing with Phase 4, especially with Thor: Love and Thunder being such a disaster, mixed reviews and responses for that film as well. So I think that David Zaslav saw that, and I think, if you want to thank anyone for Black Adam and Shazam Fury of the Gods, at the very least, going to San Diego Comic-Con, thank The Rock. And if it is because of him, right, which I think it is, he really pushed for this, by the way, and his production company is actually involved with Shazam as well, the first movie, and this movie. It's all part of a big plan, ending with a third movie of Zachary Levi's Shazam and The Rock's Black Adam throwing fists together, which is also very exciting. Can The Rock turn around the DCEU once and for all and make it an awesome franchise? I surely hope so. And if Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Batgirl and the Flash movie are going to San Diego Comic-Con, this is going to be the only YouTube channel with that exclusive. You can tell that I'm uncontrollably hyped for a change since a very long time here on the DC Daily. Not only is it because that Shazam Fury of the Gods and Black Adam are going to San Diego Comic-Con, and hopefully The Flash, hopefully Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and Batgirl, which is a film I'm truly, really, genuinely excited about. But yesterday I spoke to one of my sources who knows someone who's seen the Air Cut, and I have details about that movie. So what is the Air Cut? In 2016, David Ayer was tapped by Zack Snyder to write and direct a Suicide Squad movie. David Ayer poured his heart and soul in that movie. They repaid him, the studio, by cutting his movie to bits, ordering rewrites and reshoots. Jeff Johns rewrote the movie. David Ayer has pretty much already confirmed that, and poor David Ayer had to go back. Imagine how he felt having to go back and reshoot scenes, by Jeff Johns. So what you saw was a movie ultimately rewritten by Jeff Johns with some reshoots by David Ayer and some of his original works in there as well. Shockingly, despite all of this, I like Suicide Squad 2016. So what was the Air Cut gonna be? What was the differences? Is it the same amount of new sequences as in the Snyder Cut? No. There's a lot of stuff you haven't seen in his original movie for sure. It adds about, does it add about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that anyway. It might not even be that much extra footage. But one thing's for sure, his edit, his movie is extremely different. So don't get me wrong, lots of new scenes in this movie. And the heart of this movie, I'm being told, is Jared Leto's Joker. You know how we all were saying how Ray Fisher's Cyborg, is it Arthur? Not Arthur, what am I talking about? Victor Stone. Sorry, I'm too hyped up today, yeah. So, yeah, you know how we were saying Ray Fisher's Victor Stone, aka Cyborg, was the heart of Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut? This is exactly what Jared Leto's Joker is in the Air Cut. If this is true, this is tremendous and very exciting. We don't know if they will ever let us see this movie. That's up to David Zaslav and Discovery Now if they want to spend money on marketing this movie and allowing David to put together his version of this movie. Now, in the original release, we had loads of radio music. As has been confirmed by David Ayer and my source, by the way, there is no radio music, no songs in this movie. The Air Cut has a beautifully composed score. Apparently it is awesome and it works for the movie. It makes it a better movie. So this is Jared Leto's and Margot Robbie's and Will Smith's film. Will Smith was amazing in the original cut and Jeff Johns' rewritten movie. He's even better apparently in this movie, and it was somewhat disappointing to me that Will Smith's Deadshot wasn't in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Apparently Will declined, not because of scheduling, which is the official take, because of out of loyalty to David Ayer. David Ayer and Will Smith are very, they're big kindred spirits, and they obviously did a project also on Netflix. I forgot what that was called, but it was a very good film, by the way. So this is a longer film, a slightly longer film, but it's edited in a different way. We get a great composed score in this film. And, you know, I think the Harley Quinn we saw in the 2016 movie, even the one, you know, rewritten by Jeff Johns, is light years better than the Harley in Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Better than the Harley we had in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. We were told that was going to be like the comics Harley Quinn, like the animated series by Bruce Timm Harley Quinn. Nothing of the sort. I still think the best fucking Harley is from a fucking movie edited by a pop video music company. You know, think about that for a minute as well. And I know that's not a popular opinion. And at the end of this video, I will tell you why I'm no fan of Margot Robbie any longer. Harley Quinn in the first Suicide Squad movie is near perfect. She's sexy, she's dangerous, and she's fucking unpredictable. Exactly what Harley Quinn should be. She doesn't have to be sexy, by the way. It's not important. But she is dangerous, she is Harley, she's a killer, and she doesn't have any loyalty to anyone apart from Mr. J. So this is an interesting thing, really, because I think the haircut, from what I've been told, doesn't really try and make Harley look like the Joker's victim. She is no victim. As much as Mr. J manipulated her into the life she was going to lead, her destiny, she manipulated Mr. J in the room at Arkham Asylum. They were basically manipulating each other. That's the real hardcore relationship. But unfortunately, we live in an identical political extreme left era that all women are victims. Women don't kill people. You know, women don't commit crimes. It's fucking ridiculous. And let's be absolutely clear, and I'll touch on this at the end of the video, Margot Robbie is an SJW extreme leftist, and she's a feminist as well. A feminist of the worst kind. I love a lot of feminists and, you know, what they're fighting for. But a lot of them, it's all about kill all men. We hate men. Let's make men look bad and women look innocent and act like women have never done anything wrong in the entire history of humanity. So this movie, from what I'm hearing, is absolutely fantastic. I've had some very interesting Jared Leto Joker scenes described to me. You are not ready. I hope we get this movie. So basically, why did Suicide Squad 2016 happen in the first place? So Snyder had this plan after Man of Steel to do Batman versus Superman, and for Superman to make this sacrifice. The whole idea from Zack Snyder was, because there's no Superman after BVS, that basically Amanda Waller realizes they need something, you know, something out there, a team of people out there to do the stuff nobody's willing to do. And because they're criminals, if anything goes wrong, they can blame the criminals. The whole idea of Zack Snyder's Suicide Squad concept was because Superman was killed in BVS, and it makes sense. And I love, even the 2016 rewritten version by Jeff Johns, that whole opening sequence. Superman changed the world when he flew across the sky. He changed it again when he didn't. It's a continuation. I love Wonder Woman 2017, but it hasn't got that continuation to the rest of the Snyderverse. It's a standalone movie. It's a fucking brilliant standalone movie, but that's when Warner Brothers were trying to walk away from the Snyderverse which is very sad. So this is why Zack Snyder decided the third DCEU movie would be a Suicide Squad movie. And he decided the best person for this job was David Ayer. David Ayer is a military man. He's a very talented writer-director, and credit to Zack Snyder, he allowed this guy total creative freedom to write and direct it, and apparently he wrote and directed a really different, unique CBM that I and you and many of you out there are desperate to see. Again, what Jeff Johns and Toby Emmerich and Kevin Sujihara and all these people did to the Snyderverse was disgusting. Even worse is, or even it would have been great if we saw it, but even worse was they were planning to put Steppenwolf in the movie and kind of allude to the, to Zack Snyder's Justice League movie as well. So just like the Batfleck movie we were discussing yesterday, we were robbed. David Ayer was robbed, Zack Snyder was robbed, but most importantly, Jared Leto had improvised something beautiful because he's a method actor. And right now, the extreme left of Hollywood are going to war against method acting. It may sound dangerous and balmy to you, but these people do it for a reason, because they want to give the audience something tangible. And I can understand when you're working with method actors, it must be absolutely frustrating. They're going off book, they're taking forever. Like the story of Jared Leto in his latest film, Morbius, where he's in this costume and he's taking forever to go to the toilet. It sounds insane, but the only reason they're doing it is because they want tangibility and a connection between actor and audience member. And I like the thought behind that. I have worked with method actors before. It's very, very difficult. What I decide to do around method actors when I'm directing them and acting with them as well, that I go method as well. It's the only way. And as I say, it's a difficult process, but, I think personally I like to embrace people's different ways of working. So Jared Leto was going to be the star of this show, but, the extra scenes you'll see of Harley Quinn and Margot Robbie are brilliant. And that's what saddens me the most, because the haircut sounds terrific. And I really believed in Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn back in 2016, until I saw what she did to Kathy Yan and Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. She hasn't publicly supported Kathy Yan since Birds of Prey was released, a flop of a movie. She brought Kathy on. She told Kathy to do what she did in the movie. She brought Kathy on, an independent writer-director who had no experience in doing action or doing huge blockbuster movies. It was a mistake. Then they had to bring in Chaddy, who does the John Wick movies. And, it was a fucking disaster. And she left Kathy, and Margot Robbie left Kathy Yan to she hung her out to dry, basically. Because this is why I don't really like Margot Robbie very much, because she's an SJW, but she's not a proud SJW. She does things, she doesn't make statements though, but you can see her movies are utterly toxic. Birds of Prey. She went to Disney to do this apparent all-female Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think it's going to happen now. And this Barbie movie, this feminist Barbie movie, is utterly toxic, and people are already memeing it and taking the fucking piss out of it, and rightly so. So, even though I think Margot Robbie is a tremendous actor and she keeps on getting cast in all these things, I don't trust her. I don't think she has the DC Universe's or Harley Quinn's best interests at heart. So she'll keep on playing Harley Quinn now on streaming with James Gunn, who is also an SJW, although I respect James for what he does. I'll say again, I don't think he's the greatest creative ever, and I think he's a one-trick pony, but I respect him, I like him, at least he talks to the fans, but they have the same mind. Just look at Peacemaker. Why did he bring Peacemaker into the Suicide Squad? Why did he bring the Peacemaker streaming show? Because Peacemaker is a toxic, straight, white male with a racist father, and it was all about doing that commentary, and that's why he killed off Captain Boomerang, an awesome character played by an awesome actor, again. in the 2016 Suicide Squad. If you liked Captain fucking Boomerang in the first movie, you're going to love him even more in the air cut. But anyway, I could talk about this movie all day. I am fighting for the Batfleck movie, for the air cut, to restore the Snyderverse. But I'm also very excited about Shazam! Fury of the Gods and Black Adam going to San Diego Comic-Con. I celebrate that as a DC fan, and I'll be here to cover it. But I'm crossing my fingers, of course, because I want the Flash movie at San Diego Comic-Con. I want Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom at San Diego Comic-Con, and I want the Batgirl movie at San Diego Comic-Con especially, because those directors have done a tremendous job on that movie. Don't judge them on Miss Marvel, which is a brilliantly made show, but they're not exactly front and center of that show as you think. Check out the credits at the end of each episode and you'll know what I'm talking about. Could this be a moment where the DCEU can be saved and we go down a brand new direction? Maybe a changed direction from Walter Hamada and what he was going to do, but we need to be excited about these remaining movies and see what happens next. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to run DC Studios. But I'll tell you something, I'll be here to talk about it every single day and make sure that every freaking DC fan, along with me, knows the damn truth. I'm not going to tickle you under the chin. I'm not going to pretend everything in the garden is rosy. I'm going to give you my direct opinion and I'm going to give you the facts every single day. If that's what you want, you should remain here on this channel. This has been the DC Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you on Saturday's edition of the DC Daily. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I had making this. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.